Hey, what's going on, everybody? So this is I found this fascinating, and you wonder why things are the way that they are today, and things are so screwed up. So let's just go back to 1955. So from 1955 to 2026, the buying power of the U.S. dollar changed dramatically. The simple answer: $1 in 1955 was the equivalent of $12.32 today. $100 in 1955 is about $1,232 today. Today's $1 only buys about 8 cents worth of what it bought in 1955. In 2013, $1. So people aren't imagining it. Your dollar used to go much further. What a dollar could buy in 1955, you could often buy things like a loaf of bread, a gallon of gas was around 23 cents. A movie ticket was under $1. Hamburger for about 15 to 20 cents. A new car for about $1,900, $2,000. The average house price around $10,000 to $20,000, depending on the area, size of the house, blah, blah, blah. And then in 2026, the same dollar gets you maybe part of a fountain drink, not even a gallon of gas, definitely not a movie ticket, barely a dollar menu item. I mean, sometimes Taco Bell, but I don't think so. But real life example, a man making $5,000 a year in 1955 would need roughly $61,600 in today's money just to have the same buying power. And the main reason is because of inflation, expansion of money supply, rising housing and healthcare, education cost, wage growth not always matching the true living cost. That's for sure. This is why many older people say back then one paycheck could support a family, because often it really could. One powerful comparison in 1955, dads worked, mom stayed at home, the house, car, and kids' groceries were manageable. In 2026, often both adults work. Housing and insurance eat up huge chunks of income. Debt is common just to stay afloat. That's one of the biggest cost of living differences people feel today. So, I watched a nice little documentary on that, and there's no reason why we can't go back to that today. We need to have the same principles we did in 1955. I know there's going to be some knuckleheads go, oh, well, we had, I don't want to say slavery, I almost said slavery. But we had segregation, we had this, we had that. But you could go back and look at the families of 1955, and both black and white, and they were better off compared to today. Compared to today, you have Section 8 housing. It's terrible. Gosh, I went over my 3 minutes. I went over 3 minutes. So these videos tend to suck because for some reason, short videos just do better. I don't know. But, it's important, 1955 to 2026, it's a huge difference. And there's no reason why we can't go back to that. And, where moms raise kids, for these feminists to think that they have no value, that they need to be out working. That's the problem. You want to see where divorce rates skyrocketed? The divorce rates skyrocketed when women got into the working force. Working with men, and being around guys that don't have a moral compass, or in some cases women that didn't either, and they see something that appears to be better than what they have at home, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence, right? And so and all these things took place over 70 years ago, and it's just gotten worse. Things have not gotten any better, So what do we do about it? Besides these idiots, and you see this all the time. These mothers, these women on TikTok, dancing and pretending to act like they're 18, 19, and 20 years old. Or you got idiots that that want to eat and chew their food in front of their camera, so you can watch them, watch these people that don't know how to chew with their mouth closed. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I like the technology that we have today, but I like the family values of 1955, and the moral compass back there, I think, was far greater than it is today, and we really need to get back to that, back to church, back to saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and loving your country, speaking English. So I came to this country in 1978. I was born in Germany, and we weren't allowed to speak German here. It's like you had to speak the language. You're not in Germany. In America, you speak English. That was my dad's way of thinking, and if we deviated from that, believe it or not, we got punished for it. So in America, you speak English, whether you're at home or out in public. There's no two ways, there's no two ways around it. And I think today, if you can't read, write in English, especially if you've been here for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, there's no excuse for that. There isn't. If you don't want to learn the language and assimilate, then go back to the country of your origin, right? So I know I've kind of scattered off here from 1955, but it's like we really need to get back to that. And you didn't have this immigration problem in 1955. Believe it or not, there was, after World War II, Eisenhower initiated the Operation Wetback, and that was to deport all the people that were here during the war. And so we've had tough immigration laws before. So without borders, you don't have a country. And this multiculturalism stuff doesn't work. There's a reason why human beings are scattered across the globe and they look and behave the way that they do. I mean, if you need that spelled out for you, then you've got other issues. So think about it. Take a minute and think about it. Is your life better today? So if you're over 50, is today better than it was when you back in the 70s and 80s? Did you did you like it? I can tell you a lot of things that I rather enjoyed back then than we do today. And I really think we should get back to that. So anyway, so that's my thought process, kind of scattered as it is, from 1955 to 2026. And it's a buddy of mine did just buy, but you go buy a truck today, it's $70,000, $70,000 for a nice 3/4 ton Chevy diesel. It's unbelievable. Things need to change. So I hope you see that as well. And please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks.